Ha ha! Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of everyone's most favoritist place to be every Wednesday morning on the internet, right here. Pitch Practice, the show. What's
Good
up,
morning,
Ray?
everybody. Good morning, Mark.
How's it going?
It's going well. Hanging in there. Tired, but that's life.
Tired, tired.
Tired.
This should be like a little adjust your schedule. So waking up at 5 in the morning should almost be like waking up at 10.
I wish I've tried. I'm still too ingrained with the night shift work that I did years and years and years ago. It's just tough to go to sleep.
Yeah, okay. Late to go to sleep.
I just said it's just tough to go to sleep when you work night shift. And that's what I did when I first started, working back in 2009. I was third shift at a pharmaceutical plant. So, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. every day. It's even now it's tough to go to sleep at night.
Oh, whoa, yeah. That's they call that well, I guess third shift, late night shift, midnight shift.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Alora, are you there with us today?
Oh, I'm here more than you know. I'm excited to wrap up this book. Some good feedback for the book that I wanted to share today.
Oh, good.
Also wanted to start hearing about the new book. I know I haven't even cracked it open, but you said you've been looking into it. And I'm excited about it because I've heard from the guy that's done the forward, um, the Gerber guy,
Yeah. Michael Gerber,
the E-Myth. I've heard that's a really popular book, and it's in a lot of people's 100 most must-read books. So that's one that's also been kind of been lingering in my back here, but I've never actually picked it up. So I'm excited to hear that forward from that specific guy, and then excited to get to know the actual guy writing the book because I've never heard of him.
Yeah. I think I mentioned last week that it was a book about the guy that's what had the advertising agency, and then I was like, oh, maybe I was wrong. Well, I was right. It is about that. It is about the he had this advertising firm that was absolutely last. Maybe you've heard this story come from Russell Brunson, because he mentions the story in his book. I'm one of the secrets books, but it's the Dream 100 strategy. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's cool because this author, this E-Myth, well, this the book that we're about to read, this is one of Russell Brunson's mentors. This is where Russell Brunson learned a lot of the stuff that he teaches. And I got into it a little bit, and it was a magazine that he ran for Charlie Munger. If you know who Charlie Munger is, does that name sound familiar?
No.
Sound familiar to you, Laura?
Yes, it does.
Yes. I think, well, Charlie Munger is one of the he's a partner with Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, and so I think he's like one of Warren Buffett's side men. But we're gonna get into that book. Yeah, I'm excited about that. We're getting to that next week. To this week, because we have a short time. Oh, we're putting the finishing touches on this book. Hey, I want to thank everybody out there for watching. Thanks for your comments. And Laura, there was something specific to you last week that someone commented about, and I know you remember it because you mentioned, I think, Cody Sanchez, and it was talking about how you get rich quietly. I thought that was funny. We got a couple comments about that, and And maybe you'll make that connection with somebody out there listening. Did you remember that, Laura? Are you there? Okay, never mind.
I do remember that. And I do remember the context. The context was, we're talking about a specific industry, and you asked me if I'd consider being a influencer in my space. And I told you some of the reasons why, like, people are cautious about that specific space. And then I also brought up the kind of idea that some of the things that in many industries, specifically mine, I'm in the franchise development industry, it's one of those that can be incredibly lucrative, and one of those that is really full of people that maybe have been doing it for 40, 50 years. And it is one of those, like, yeah, why would we invite more people into it? It's a little more hush hush. That's not a bad thing. It's one of those, like, okay, like, why is it so hush hush, right? Like, even when you think about crypto, when you think about all those things, when people want to be kind of like get rich quicker, and stocks or something smaller, you kind of don't really know the people that have done billions of dollars of transactions in hedge funds. They're never going to really, they don't even get on social media. They don't care to know you. They don't care to know me. They're not there for that. They're there to do big, big things. So it's interesting to start looking at what industries are kind of hush hush. And the way that I consider it now is, what could be a leverage point to get into that industry or stumble into that industry? Because if something that Hormozi, is it Hormozi or Formosi? Hormozi. Something that Hormozi really said that in the last couple of weeks that I've been listening to him, that really freaking just like touched my heart, my soul. He was like, well, something Warren Buffett says is, it doesn't matter how fast you row. What matters is what boat you get in. And I've just been a little bit obsessed with that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's why there's a lot of people that are incredibly well off in specific sectors, but they're not really well versed. They're not like that smart. They just happen to be in an industry that they do something, and now all of a sudden it's a 5 million commission. Oh, it's a $5 million something. So it really started making me think, like, okay, like, I'm in an industry that's a little bit of gatekeeper. What could be a great other industry to consider? And one of the other industries that I've been looking at is, I've actually really liked Cody Sanchez's plan of diversifying specifically with buying a business and doing seller finance deals. Because why would we not buy businesses, regardless of what kind of businesses they are, even if they're franchises, with the seller financing the note? Why do we have to go get an actual bank loan? Why couldn't we do creative financing deals? So that's something else that I've been really looking into, just as why that thing that Hormozi talked about really got me thinking, what is that next thing that I need to look into? And by the way, I was setting up my new mount, and let me take the background off, because I just got this thing from from Amazon, and it's a stand for you to be able to speak, and you put your phone right here and then hold up both of your hands. So that's something I've been testing out. You have the stand right there. And then you have your 2 hands. I guess I never actually used this just yet.
That's why you said I'm here more than you know. Well,
I'm here more than you know. got all my hands.
Yes,
Hold
yes.
on, let me show it to you on it looks a little ridiculous, I cannot lie.
Oh,
But
oh my gosh. Yeah, it looks
it's
like
like I'm going through one of those crazy ghost rooms, and I'm like,
it looks like one of those things that you buy and you're like, this doesn't do what I thought it would do. Doesn't work. But hey, we want to because we only have a really short time today because Brandon has to get out of here. So I wanted to, put a button on this book and let
yeah,
Brandon talk a little bit about what he learned from the book and how he implemented it over the past week. And we got this massive little surprise, Brandon. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, I finally recorded the first rendition of the webinar that I've had available to do and use. So it is a PLR webinar. I'm not gonna lie, it's not anything that I created myself because one, I just wanted to do something quickly, and the best way to do something quickly is to do something that's PLR. And if you don't know what PLR is, look it up. Russell
private
talks.
label rights.
Russell talks a lot about PLR. It's the fast way to get something out to the crowd. And once you learn to master that, then you can start, using your own stories to make it yours. But anyway, yeah. So we just finished up last week with the deal, and I was like, man, I got to do a webinar. I was like, well, I've been doing podcasts for I don't know, I got like 20 or so episodes out now, and I figured, heck, let me just record this presentation and throw it up as a webinar. And so I know I didn't promote it right. It was like super quick. It's like, I'm going live in 24 hours. Meet me at this link here on Riverside as my audience, and we'll rock and roll and go. So I did the presentation. I think I practiced it one time before I actually went live, built out slides for it. And I just did it. I know nobody showed up, which is perfectly fine because it wasn't that great. But I mean, it's still evergreen now. And I threw it up as a podcast anyway. And, it has to do with the 3 biggest mistakes that small business owners make when it comes to running their business and how they're advertising. And the material is great. I just know I got to get better at delivering it. And, if you want to know what those secrets are, then you got to go to the podcast to listen to it on Spotify. Just look up Business Growth Accelerator. I'm the one with the lettered logo, not the smiling looking bald guy, I think, that has his face on his channel art there. So, yep, if you want to look it up, 3 biggest mistakes small business owners make in running their business and how to overcome them. And if you listen to that, you will be set to start conquering the local market. And it's gotten some plays. I think I'm up to 7 plays now on it, kind of organically. I really haven't been pushing it out or saying that I've put it out there, but it's gotten 7 plays so far in a week. So that's a play a day.
Did you implement any of the speaker bits, the bits barrage, the tweetable repeatables, or
if they were built in there, sure, they're in there. But
oh yeah,
outside of that, I didn't deviate too much from the story and the message that was in there. The next time around, I'll probably update it to make it a little bit more relevant to advertisements closer to this decade, because the advertisements that were used were like late 90s, early 2000s. So, but still, people are making the same mistakes, so they're still relevant.
Oh yeah. No sound bites, no tweetable repeatables, no stacking.
I don't know. I just went with it, man. They're probably in there. If I listen back to it, maybe I can highlight it, for the next show before we get into the book. But yeah, I don't have it up here in front of me to run through it. I mean, it's 38 minutes, so it's not very long at all to listen.
Oh, 38 minutes. That's a nice little presentation. 38 minutes. That's quite a few words. I remember I did that 15 minutes and I tried to actually memorize it. And yeah, that didn't work.
No, it's tough. Google presentations with the slide notes up in front of the camera, kind of reading off makes it easy. But I definitely want to get it to where I absolutely know it and memorize it down pack, that I can just walk up into any venue and just rip it off. And I'll get there.
All right. So after reading this book, Laura, any virtual presentations on the horizon for you?
Virtual presentations, no, but I always want to remember that if you're a salesperson, which I am, you're always in the public speaking arena, which means that you need to constantly improve your public speaking skills. So I will say this book made some really good points of, first, I liked at the end that they did start. I think the last half of the book was where the meat was of the whole book for me, where there was some really valuable information. You know, the pattern of their bits, right? Their belief, identity, transformation is I struggle. The pattern of when you speak is if I struggle, then you struggle, then make a point, then, you know, who is the they? There's got to be some sort of battle there, then a soundbite, then a declaration.
That you're attacking, the false belief that you're attacking from.
Yep. Yep. And then I do like the fact that Aaron, Joseph, whoever Greg was in the book, he told them, you don't help somebody until you actually transact with them. So you always have to have an invitation, and that invitation is to take the next step. That next step has to be something that you monetize. So I did like the fact that it is about monetizing, like what is that next step? And it always should lead towards some sort of motivation. And I love the fact that Eileen kept talking about in one of the chapters that you should stay leaned out. Like, you don't need the sell. You don't care if you sell it. You have to be open to whatever happens, but the intention is to close the deal. Of course, you always want to seem like you care, but you don't need the sell.
Yeah.
And that's a healthy way to not make somebody feel, not that it's pressure, but make it look like, bye, Brandon, go and crush it. To make it seem like you are not desperate for the deal. That does become important. I know something that one of the owners of where I work has always said is, if they buy, you don't care. If they don't buy, you don't care. Like, not in a way of like whatever, but in a way of you move on to the next one. The funnel's full. I don't take any of that personal. So that's a really good reaffirming thing for me. The last thing that I really enjoyed was that one of the ways when you speak, when you're speaking, they mentioned that every single good speaker says the same thing 3 times, but in 3 different ways.
Yeah.
All right. So it's like same point, story 1, same point, story 2, same point, story 3. You always kind of say it in 3s. And then, of course, it is always in your best interest to have different tiers of levels to offer, a minimum of 3 levels of kind of options, because that's what's going to help you transact your funnel. And you do not help somebody until you actually close them, which is the same thing that Grant says. Nothing happens until the critical point of exchange. And that critical point of exchange, like Grant would say, is you got to close the deal. So I know something that I'm going to keep working on is becoming a better speaker. and becoming a better listener, because I have to keep reminding myself that if I'm going to be in sales for the rest of my life, it is that, right? Right now, I kind of speak to one-on-one audiences, which is one person or maybe like two people. But there is going to be a point where maybe I could speak to one to many. So that's something that doesn't hurt to get ready for, right? You got to be ready for when those things happen. And one of those things that I do need to also develop is, what are some things that I could offer that are free resources, that are second tier resources, that are third tier high ticket items, that are, outside of where I work. So that's kind of what I got out of the book. Enjoyed the last part of it. I would say it's worth me reading back again a little bit now that I understand the flow of the book. If you really look at the book, it's about a 2 to 3 hour read.
Yeah, I read it in one night.
It's a 2 to 3 hour read. So
yeah. You mentioned about one thing about stop selling, start helping. You don't make you don't help anyone until you close the transaction.
Correct.
And I like with Eileen how she doesn't, well, she says she makes the invitation. She calls it
you make an invitation. Correct.
Yeah, and it's making an invitation without sounding salesy. I think, when you look at the sales profession and even people that are in the industry, the biggest thing that they are afraid of is asking for the sale. And sometimes it's cold calling. It's cold calling and asking for the sale. And I think it's maybe it's a false belief, that you have to sound like a salesperson. But with her, she's always got this, like you said it, it's like leaning back, because I think when you lean in, people are going to lean back. But when you lean back, then people are going to lean in.
Correct. And another point that the book made was, do you want to be doing this? For free at your own time, part-time? Or do you want to get paid for your time and your resources? And you want to get paid for your time and resources because you are, well, they didn't really say it this way, but many others have. You are in the information business. What you're really selling is at some point information. Everybody else does it a little bit different, but if you're going to spend your time helping people, you need to get paid. And don't be afraid to get paid for your time and your efforts. It's exactly what you should be doing. And people value things that they have to pay for. They take it a little bit more seriously.
Yeah. Brandon's with us twice. Yeah.
I'm on the road, head down to orthodontist for me. That's why I kind of had to bounce out, but I figured I'd hop on here on the mobiles.
Awesome.
Good, and still continue the conversation.
Are you with the fam?
My little one, yeah, he's got an orthodontist appointment we're headed to right now.
That's so sweet. Look at Brandon being a dad.
All right. Summer, it must be summertime. Your background's mostly blurred out. Hey, but it was during our little time before we came on live, we had an opportunity to go into the bonus area for the book. Yep. Right. So if you get the book, there's mention of a bonus area. If you get the book, it's going to have the website, and we actually went on there and we watched some of the videos that they put out there. One of the videos that was put out that we watched was a presentation from Oprah. And
Oprah.
And it was a breakdown of it was just a speech, right? It was just it was an acceptance speech of her in 2018, I think, and they were really breaking it down to how how Oprah was pretty much using the framework that they are teaching, from the bit barrage, the attacking the false belief with one story, and then attacking the false belief from another story, and then a third story. And I think that I'm gonna give a little extra resource that I found that maybe I don't know if it was mentioned in the book, but I just want to give it out to you right now. Remember I told you, and it's a website that's used for you to help you get those, what are they called? Tweetables.
The tweetable, repeatable.
Yeah. Tweetable repeatables. So that website is called rhymezone.com. So, and I don't know if that's actually mentioned in the book, but that's a website that you can go to, and it's a website that will help you to create your own tweetable repeatables, or your
Let's
own.
look at one. Let's look at one. Let's look at the website.
Well, I just love how this book is almost filled with them.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Needy energy pushes people away. Leaned out energy attracts others towards you.
Yeah.
That's just and then look, and you said it too. Buy or don't buy. I don't need your money. And that's exactly, let's see here if I can put that. You see it right there?
Yep. Buy or don't buy. Don't need your money.
But you can buy or don't buy. I don't need your money. And your neediness will cause their speediness to the door. How about that one? Yeah. So so all in all, I really enjoyed the book for just some practical things that you can like squeeze into what you're already doing.
Yeah.
And it might just be a little switch or a little change in your presentation that you get from one of their examples that you can say, let me try that. And especially with the I and you. I love how how they teach the transition from I to you. So I definitely haven't implemented this completely, but I did find some good points in here to practice and use in some presentations. And what about you, Brandon? I know you're driving. Be careful. Huh. You're still on mute.
I know, I had to figure out how to take it off. Yeah, I mean, I did try to implement a little bit of it when I was, doing my PLR like presentation, and weave a couple of things in there. But again, I was just doing it so fast to get it up because it didn't have to be perfect. I just did it. So I think again, the next time around, I will be a little bit more intentional for the activity and put more of that stuff in there and probably make it a little bit longer and more detail on the 3 biggest mistakes. Hey, maybe the 3 biggest mistakes will turn into the 7 biggest mistakes, and I'll add 4 more things to them that I'll be able to really dive in on the issues.
Okay. And use the I-you framework. I-you struggle. It's I-you, the struggle, and then the points. Cool. And it's interesting. What I wanted to say, just some of the names that they had mentioned, and the in the acknowledgments, Myron Golden, I think we were talking about how I actually was first introduced to Eileen is through Myron Golden, and the story that I've heard him tell multiple times about her coming to him and wanting to work with him and not having the money to work with him. And from there, Myron told her, if you want to get the money, you do this, this, and this. And basically what he told her was, take what you would normally do in 12 months and do it in 1 month. And take what you would normally do in 1 month and do it in 1 week. And then take what you might normally do in 1 week and do it in 1 day. And if you do that, then in 30 days, you'll have the money. So I think what she really learned from that was just to compress time. And what do you think about that? Okay, so we only got a few minutes. We can't really open up that entire can of worms, but that's just about compressing.
Well, I can say with that, I'm trying to do that right now. I mean, when the company I was working for sold, I mean, I got 30 days. I need to figure something out. So, when I was kind of doing it part-time Batman gig, I really wasn't doing much. Now that I got to do it, I got to do it. So, interactions have gone up tenfold. Calls have gone up tenfold. So everything that I would have done in a month, I did in 10 days. So, and it's helped. It's worked. Got more contacts in. I got more deal flows working. Still waiting down. But Byron's right. Like, if you plan on doing something in a year, do it in 30 days. If you think you can do it in 30 days, do it in a week. You'll be surprised on what you can actually do and get done.
You can compress that time into a shorter time frame. Are you out there walking, Laura?
Yeah, it's called Turn Decades into Days.
Ooh, that's a tweetable, repeatable right there.
Turn decades into days. That's actually something I'm telling myself about specific things. I know for me, the biggest thing, it's like, man, I want to get back into shape and really be at the best shape of my life again. It's something that I've kind of let go a little bit. I'm a little bit ashamed of that, but I will get back to it. I'm gonna go back and do the crazy shit I used to do, where I was a lot more physically fit. That really helped me. I feel like my career is like the best place ever, but my body is not. But that's okay. It was my fault, and I know how to get it back. Now I just need to take action. I need to go back and turn those decades into days. I need to stop feeling sorry for myself and just go for it.
Well, momentum is powerful, and if you have, when you're working out and you're in that routine, you've got that momentum, and it just comes a lot easier. But when you stop that momentum and now you have to restart, that's a little tough. I know the feeling. I think I'm right there with you. This summer has turned me into more of a, I've been taking a lot more summer break this year.
And it's not a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing, but I just also want to remember what's most valuable to me. What's most valuable to me is like, and it's so funny. It's, Jesse Itzler, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He always talks about how, what do you really want? Because it's not the money. You want the specific outcome. And for me, the number one, it's always, I want to be physically fucking fit. Like, I want to be ripped. Like, it's like, no amount of money could give you that, right? Yeah, even if you had liposuction, you can't just put on muscle without working out.
Unless you just get the injections.
Yeah, injections like Brandon got.
But that's crazy. Why would you want to? I know there's people out there that do it, and most notably, you know what they get injected, right? Well, right here and right here.
Well, because it's exactly what Hermosi said. People want the instant
Quick.
solution.
Quick.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, they want the quick. They'll take the quick over the I think that was in the what was that? I want to say, was that in the naming chapter?
Yeah, in the naming chapter. Yeah, where you started talking about when you sell a customer something, it's about the result that it gets them. Not necessarily the product, it's the result that it gets them.
Yeah. And people will pay for faster, and then people will, yeah. There was some really good points in that Hormozy book, and how it was broken down. They were really good. All right. So, $1 Million Speaker. I would say if you haven't read it, yep, there's no copy of it. You can't buy it, but I think I will leave a link around this video with where you can actually go and download an ebook. Like
Whoa. You're not just getting it that easily for free. You gotta let them, you have to make them contact you, make them do something for it.
All right.
You gotta contact Brandon or Mark to get this thing.
You've got to share this. You have to hit the like button, and you have to share it, hit the love. And if you do that, then we'll give the link out. But we're less than 1 minute left. So just want to say that we love thanks so much, all of you, for tuning in. We appreciate you being here watching us. We love your comments. And we'll see you again next week. Close the deal.
Sounds good. Always a pleasure. Take care, guys.
Go close the deal, guys. Bye.
Close the deal.
Woo, woo.
All right. See you guys.